It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
And welcome into We Talk Sports Good. It is another Wednesday here, and I think we both got a little bit of big heads here right now, Randall, as we just came off a what do you call a record show, you might say?
Oh, that's a good one, man. That was really good. Definitely a record show. What was it?
I think we had 4,400 right on the dot.
Yeah, just on Twitter too.
That's
not
true.
quite sure what else we had, but I have a feeling it's not going to be like that tonight. But we can dream, right? We can dream
for sure. So, if you're returning maybe for your second time or long-time returner, welcome. We Talk Sports Good. We cover everything. We try to, but if we don't think we know maybe to the best of our abilities, we bring in great experts who can give some extra insight on said sport. And we have great options here to with 12-ounce sports overall if you want to win some money, because obviously, as we'll get to my segment for college football, once again, don't listen to me, but you use a MyBookie, the 12OZ sports code on that, you can win some money. And we have other shows that actually consistently produce. I don't know if you've seen, I know Pete's Power Play, he obviously is a major hockey one, but he is a great daily fantasy option, as well as he's constantly in those upper percentiles. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
He's like 96, 97 consistent. So that's how you win the money. Don't listen to me. Or you just bet the opposite of what I say. So
true. You didn't do terrible this week, though, right?
It was better. It wasn't great, but it was better.
I mean, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it, yeah. And if you want, if you're already listening maybe on just social media, obviously welcome. And then you also have the option to download the Zingo TV app. It's free. 12OZ Sports is the code when you sign up. We are channel 761, and you can just throw it on the TV. And then, as we already have, our boy Cam supporting us on Twitter.
Yo.
Thanks, Cam. So, yeah.
If Cam's not done with school yet, he's getting really close. I think he actually just finished.
He's done, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just finished, so good for him. We might look. I've been teasing this for a while, and Cam, if you're listening right now, it's time. The time is now. We've got some plans that we've talked about, and you might see a spin-off show. That's all I'm saying. Might have to be on YouTube or something just at first, but we'll let you know for sure.
Yeah, well, nice. We'll keep an eye on that. We're always trying to get you some great sports action, fun, debate, sound off, obviously, on Twitter. Tweet at us or text us at the 972-677-8269, and we're more than happy to cover your topics as well as what we got. And we're going to obviously get into, this is our wheelhouse right here, college football and NFL. That's our heavy time of the year, and we still got some World Series baseball. I know you've been actually checking out some more baseball.
Yeah. Well, that's usually my thing, though, is I usually end up watching I try to watch the World Series. I'll usually catch at least a couple of games, but yeah, I see Tampa Bay's got a nice little 3-0 lead in the bottom of the fourth here, so we'll take that. Hopefully they can even it up tonight.
Yeah. So I do want to point out, on Baseball Preview Show Thomas and I did, and then I was able to double down when we did playoff predictions, Dodgers-Rays was my day one prediction.
There you go.
I didn't obviously have the Rays winning the division, but they stormed out in front there. So that definitely helped make that World Series run. I mean, I love their build of their pitching staff, just from starting to relief. They have so many options they can use to kind of work that around. Obviously, they make that offense work, as you're seeing now with Lau hitting the home run with I think it was a solo shot, if I'm correct. But Wendell coming up clutch. You've got just a lot of different players just producing. Good old Randy making an impact
That's
there.
Me.
So it's all over the place. And Dodgers offense yesterday obviously showed out. That was kind of what everyone was expecting when they put up those 8 runs.
Mm-hmm.
They got off to that rough start against the Braves, the 3-1, and then they came alive. Those bats that we were waiting for, they just all came at once. And that's the dangerous thing about the Dodgers when you have right now. I mean, I know he's been struggling all year, but Bellinger batting 6th. And then he can just explode for a big 2-run home run. You got Mookie leading off, just dominating. Corey Seager's been hot. Turner, Muncy, Will Smith. As I don't know if you saw, Braves have a Will Smith. So Will Smith hit a home run off of Will Smith last series.
I don't like that. That makes things difficult.
Yeah. So he's been playing well as of late. Taylor's always a good option. Jock Peterson can get hot. I mean, and then they have Pollock, who hasn't even played yet. I think he's hurt. I completely forgot to check. I don't think no, he did play today. That's right. He plays in the game lineup today. So they have so much roster kind of versatility. They don't even always have. There's always someone on the bench that you're like, oh man, that guy can be dangerous. So when their bats get hot, they're dangerous. But the Rays, I kind of saw the Rays winning this game with Blake Snell starting there. I know the Dodgers are saving Buehler for Game 3. Buehler, Morton. That's going to be a great series, as Charlie Morton has been just dominant and winning big games, the clinching games so far for the Rays. So I had it going 7 both times from the beginning and before the playoff prediction, and I see it going 7 again. It's a fun series. These are the 2 best teams, and they're showing it. They're a whole lot of fun to watch.
Is this where Kershaw finally kind of breaks that playoff?
I hope.
You know, he had a good outing last night. 6 innings, right?
And I think the narrative's kind of rough
only
on him.
one?
Only one.
Yeah.
The narrative's rough because obviously the wins aren't there. But if you really look at a lot of his starts, it's really only. I feel like it's more of a couple that stand out more than anything. He really does have pretty solid playoff showings. It's just always those ones that stick out in your head when they lose, which they haven't won a World Series, so that stands out. I mean, I get people don't like them because they're the Yankees of the West, but at the same time, man, they have a lot of homegrown talent. They obviously go out and get those guys like Mookie, that they're not afraid. But I mean, that pitching staff, the starting at least, that is very Dodger grown. And quite a bit of their lineup. So, I mean, they will go fill in the pieces. But their GM was a former Rays assistant up there near the top. So, I mean, they have kind of that analytical, being smart with your money mind that runs their team, but he has a bigger payroll. So imagine what the Rays do, consistently being good with a small payroll. Now you gave this guy a big payroll to work with. That's why you see the Dodgers always consistently up top. There's a lot of likable guys on the Dodgers. I mean, obviously, when I was looking at it, I mean, there's likable guys. I feel like I shouldn't like them because, like I said, they're the Yankees of the West. They can spend, they're just a big name. Root for the underdog. But, man, I mean, both teams have a lot of likable guys. But the Dodgers, I've always been Clayton Kershaw, I can tell you, has always been, for as long as I can remember, my favorite pitcher in baseball. I really want to go catch one game that he pitches here in Texas. I mean, that's just one thing I want to do. Before he retires, I want to see Clayton Kershaw pitch.
Yeah.
So,
that's fair.
Yeah.
I've only ever gotten to see one really good pitcher pitch live. I got to see Felix Hernandez once. Kind of like at the height of when he was so good.
Say, if you got him in the top, he was a Cy Young contender consistently.
Yeah, he was nasty. I got to ask you, is at this point, is Mookie ahead of Trout? Is he the best player in the world?
Oof. I think I still have to give. I don't know. I feel like by default I have to always give Trout. But man, Mookie, it's 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I saw that. That's what I saw in I want to say I was reading. ESPN put out an article that basically they ranked every single player on both rosters.
Yeah.
And they compared Mookie. They said that right now they felt like it was a tie between Mookie and Trout, and that it was like Trout is this unstoppable Mack truck.
Yeah.
And then Mookie is this sophisticated gliding on the ice type of deal. It's just two different playing styles.
It is.
But they're both at just the best in the world, basically, those two.
There's
no one else that touches on them, right?
Yeah. I have a hard time saying it because you can kind of find a flaw. I hate saying it, like a flaw to someone else, but like with those two, they can do everything. Like you said, they do it in
Yeah.
different styles, but like I really like Juan Soto. I've obviously hyped him up from the beginning of the year, and he had a great year once he came back from. He had the initial positive COVID before the year, but you could look at his defense and go, yeah, it's not. He's not a Gold Glover, but he'll play his position well enough. I mean, but you look at Mookie, obviously you've seen many plays already this playoffs where Mookie's making an insane catch. I mean, Trout does that consistently. I mean, you look at all the tools of both their games, they can do it all. I mean,
Yeah.
and at the top level, like I said, Juan Soto, great at a lot, but you're not going to see. He's not going to be that consistent Gold Gloving, type player. Like obviously, I've always liked Bryce Harper, but he has flaws in his strikeout. He strikes out a little more than he should. I mean,
You know who?
Yeah.
I was just say, you know who I was, I've been watching Mookie. I've been trying to get to watch him because I knew he was good. I knew he was good coming into the season. I just didn't realize how good he was. No one had really quite described how good he was, especially in the field, to me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this probably an unfair because this player more plays like Trout than Mookie does. But seeing him in the outfield reminded me of like the clips you see of what Bo Jackson was in the outfield. He's just like, there's a difference between baseball players and like athletes that are playing baseball. You know what I mean? Like it's something about like he just moves so much faster than every other outfielder. His just an absolute rocket of an arm. Like him, I was watching videos of him, catching people at home plate from outfield, and I'm like, good Lord, he's throwing the way that like I've seen Bo Jackson throw, where he just absolutely just destroys the ball to home plate. Like it's, I don't know, he really is something else.
Yeah, I mean he is a two-sport athlete. He's a pro bowler too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he has.
Does he like bowl with like Chris Paul and all them all the time, or is he like even better than those guys?
He has bowled on the
tour?
On the tour before.
What is that? PBA?
PBA, yeah.
PBA?
Yeah,
wow. I know that because it used to be on ESPN2 on Sundays. I would go to ESPN2 thinking I was going to watch football or something because I was too young to not know that, ESPN didn't do football on Sundays. But anyways, yeah, man.
He is a PBA member.
Wow. I want to say Chris Paul is too. I mean, I know Chris Paul is really into bowling.
Here we go. This might be an older. Yeah, this is an older article, but he did roll a perfect game in a qualifier in the World Series of Bowling in Reno.
Wow.
It was his. Mookie guessed it was his 10th professional or 10th perfect game. Maybe not. It was his first in a PBA tour event, though.
Weird.
So,
strange.
So yeah, there you go. Fun fact. But yeah, so keep on watching the World Series. Got a lot of great action, and I mean, when I said I think it's going 7, and if I'm correct, because it's going to, they do have the spacer days this time, not like they were doing in the ALCS and NLCS to kind of get it quick. We'll have a day off tomorrow, come back 3, 4, 5, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, Tuesday Game 6 if necessary, as well as Game 7. So we could be live in the Game 7 next week. So pretty interesting there.
There you go.
Yeah. So if it goes my prediction, and apparently baseball is the one thing I'm getting right. So we'll see. With getting right, let's look at what I've gotten wrong in college football. I felt pretty good actually because I had a lot of. I attacked the it was Wednesday, Friday last week, and I was 2-1 coming out of that. I felt pretty strong. I had the Coastal Carolina. They gave me 9, and they won. I was feeling pretty good about Coastal Carolina. They're now ranked and still undefeated. So how about the Chanticleers, right?
Dude, I don't even know. I don't remember what they are. I always see their their mascot and like little image thing, and it looks so weird. I don't even like know what it is really.
It's like a rooster type thing, I think.
Is that what it is?
I think, if I'm correct. Well,
Yeah, I think it is. Now
Yep.
that I've like zoomed
Looks
in
like
on it
it.
a little bit more. Yeah,
They
yeah.
did win a College World Series 5-6 years ago, maybe.
Actually, you know what? I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dustin Johnson, the PGA golfer, I believe, is from Coastal Carolina, if I'm correct.
Wow. Look at them.
Yeah. So I was feeling pretty good. I thought they could win it, and when they gave me 9, I was feeling good. So I got 2 Fridays. BYU definitely covered at 5.5. They did make it a little close versus Houston for a little bit, and then they just started blowing them out of the water. SMU with their first game without Roberson, her top receiver, was a little tight. So I think that was kind of figuring it out without him. But good old Shane. Is Shane the best QB in Texas right now?
No. No, I refuse. No. I just nah, man. I don't want to say that.
Oof.
That hurts me, but yeah, probably. Yeah, most likely. I'm sure there's some high school kid out there that's probably better than all 4 of them in Texas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So they didn't get that 6.5 cover, but they did get the win. I was completely wrong about Tennessee, and I'll touch on games obviously between these after we go through our picks. But Tennessee did not bounce back and absolutely
sad.
looked terrible. And you know what? One of my concerns, and I thought maybe they were able to, they knew how to get around it, but good old how do I always butcher his name, Garantano for Tennessee. I mean, he's just not it. I mean, everyone knows he's not it. They're not going to be. They're never going to ascend to the next level until they find the next guy. But I thought they had it under control, you know. But he threw back-to-back. Was it? I think it was back-to-back pick sixes. Anyways, he threw 2 pick sixes. Honestly, it's not like Kentucky's offense looked that great, but Tennessee just kept giving it to him in easy position. Yeah, that was just embarrassing. So, you know, they had that. It was an 8-game winning streak, you know, that they had. But once they started playing the better teams, they started falling apart again. So they got a little longer before Tennessee's back. My Liberty covering their spread cleared it easily. So at that point, I was feeling really good. We're still early, and I'm 3-2. That's potential. And then UTSA was playing a close game, and then they let Army get a little bit away in the second half. I thought they could keep it close in their loss. I don't know if you saw the UCF just. They had the game, and they let Memphis come back, and then even if they kicked the field goal, I wouldn't have won. But then still, they just kind of embarrassed themselves at the end, and then
yeah, I kind of caught the tail end of that game.
I don't know if you had saw the poor kickers over there getting consoled by all his special teams bros, and then someone, I don't know, offensive defensive player come. Poor kicker's already feeling bad about himself, and you know, obviously these players, you know, maybe half of them don't even acknowledge their special teams unit until they missed the kick there, and poor
Did
guys.
Did it ever come out what that kid said to him?
I never saw.
Yeah, I don't know. The kid was already like, he was already hot about it because he was like throwing his helmet and stuff, which there's one of 2 things that I think happened. Either one, the dude came up to him and was like, hey, you kick balls and you have one job and you didn't do it, which that's on him. He shouldn't say crap like that. Or he came up there and was like, hey, stop being a little asshole and throwing your helmet on the you know.
Yeah.
And look, it's probably not his place to say that. That's the coach. But the kid was being like, suck it up. If you're really, you do that crap in the locker room.
Yeah.
You don't do that on the field where the whole world can see you and you're making yourself look like a little punk. So I don't know. That kid needed to chill out.
So either way, it was definitely entertaining to say the least on that ending. Yeah. And then I will give props to Arkansas. Woo Pig Suey, man.
Woo Pig Suey.
I am jumping on the Arkansas train. You know what?
I told you, man.
I thought Ole Miss could still win by a field goal. I thought their offense, this lane train was coming through, and it would be a close game. But I could 2.5. I thought, they can win by a field goal still, and I get the win. Not at all. 6 interceptions by Corral, and you know, I will publicly apologize to Felipe Frank right now. Yeah, I thought that I mean,
Talk
obviously,
bad about them when I said
did.
they were going to cover against Auburn. You didn't believe me.
Nope.
They did.
I had no faith in Felipe Frank, and you know what? I will admit I am wrong because, I mean, obviously I think Florida still got the better end of the deal with Trask, but I mean, I just thought it was like a easy move on. But apparently, you know what? Good for Felipe. In my lock of the week, the first one, Alabama handles Georgia, and let me just say, I don't know if you had saw, but I got in a little discussion with the group in 12 ounce because there's a few Georgia fans upset, and I said, look, Stetson Bennett the fourth, Mr. Frat Captain President, dropping a big load of chew a couple games back after the game. I don't know if you saw that. He put a good wad in after the game on the field still, like right when it hit 0. Anyways, he's not the. I mean, he's a good fill-in, but he can't. I mean, he stretched the field once, and he doesn't throw outside the numbers at all. Pretty much, he's got to just everything's short, intermediate, down the middle, safe plays, which it works. You know, for certain teams it works, but you're never going to hang with an Alabama like that. There's just no way, especially when Alabama actually has an offense now these last 5 years. You know, maybe Alabama of 10 years ago when they still had John Parker Wilson or whatever, you know, Stetson Bennett could go blow for blow with the 2-yard outs, but not this offense where you have pro receiver after pro receiver after pro receiver on like a 4 or 5 depth. So yeah. I mean, JT Daniels, I'm not saying he's a superstar by far. I'm not thinking he's going to blow out, you know, everyone in the SEC, but he's a big step up, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously, if they had Newman, that would have been even bigger of a step up. Or if they didn't run Justin Fields out of there.
Ooh, that'd be a different team right now.
So, I obviously think Georgia can handle pretty much the rest of their games. I hope they start Daniels versus Florida, or else I might be a little concerned. Then again, I guess Florida's defense isn't that great, but if Daniels starts versus Florida, I'm feeling pretty comfortable they win out and get that rematch with Bama in the SEC championship. So, then my final one, I thought Boston College has been playing well, and they've also kind of got me a few wins in this, so I was feeling confident to go with them, and they were at 12 points, and they did not cover that as they lost 40-14. So that was my 4-6 week. That was actually a bounce back, and that's been, well, I guess I've had 2 4 5-1, so that's technically better. So it was a bounce back. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So want to touch on a few other games. I mean, I feel like
got one that I want to talk about too.
Yeah,
it's bothering me.
I feel like I know where you're going on that, but just want to say 73-7. Man, I should have picked Clemson. As I don't know if you saw at the end of the game, their last drive, they had their punter in at QB throwing passes.
Was that what it was?
Yep.
So I very much stopped.
Oh yeah,
I was good.
I was looking at the box just to see what else popped up statistically, and I was like, who is that guy? And I clicked him. I was like, he's listed. That's their punter.
Woof. Dude, that's horrible. Ugh, Georgia Tech. You know what? That's what Georgia Tech gets. That's what you get for not being the triple option anymore. Yep. That's what you get, dude.
Don't
go back.
Abandon the triple
tradition.
Option. Yep. So just absolutely whooping on them. Miami does bounce back. Pitt just left a few guys wide open from some of the highlights I saw. We have, I was gonna say, you know, there wasn't a lot of crazy action. I mean, there just wasn't a ton of games going on. Notre Dame only winning 12-7.
Dude, that's something that I was wrong on last year, was that I didn't think they were going to be frauds last year. I was wrong. And they're frauds again this year.
They will. They've had such an easy schedule so far, and Louisville's still not playing that great. I mean, they've got they still got to have Clemson, but I mean,
Notre Dame, they play Clemson and UNC.
They do, yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, but they're not going to make the playoffs. We'll be rid of them by then.
I bet they lose to both Clemson and UNC.
Okay.
Plus, they play at Boston College. I get that Boston College isn't like Boston College has been in the past.
They've been pretty solid.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go play them at Boston College. That's not something I would want. You know, they barely lost to UNC.
And it was
They didn't play Virginia Tech well.
no, but they've been other than that game, they have been playing.
Yeah, they
fairly
beat a
solid.
good Pitt team, 31-30. So
And there's Pitt sitting 3-3 against Notre Dame next week, and Notre Dame has to go to Pitt. That is an upset alert because Pitt just likes to hang around when they're about 500 and beat an undefeated team.
Mm-hmm.
So Mississippi State finally scored another offensive touchdown, and that's the KJ Costello that I remember maybe having some faith in at Stanford, and then getting benched. And maybe that Leach offense isn't going to work in the SEC, as everyone now has actually done their research on how to stop it. So
yeah.
Interesting there as A&M gets a win. And then I think we're going to go to what you're waiting for is Florida State wins. Mac Brown is, I think they said 0-10 versus Florida State in his career. His alma mater.
Yeah, his alma
He
mater.
has never beat him.
Played a little fullback there. Yeah, so something that's interesting to me about this. Let me read you some of the stat lines from this game.
Okay.
And I'm going to leave out one important thing. Okay, so UNC, 27 first downs, FSU 16. Total yards, UNC, 558, Florida State, 432. 374 passing to 191, UNC. Both threw one pick, no other turnovers. So both had one turnover. Florida State did outrush them, but it wasn't terrible, 184 to 241. You know, that's not absolutely horrendous, but, you know, here's the thing that I'm leaving out, because if you listen to that, North Carolina won that game, right?
Yeah.
Here's a big one they also won time of possession, 33 minutes versus 26 minutes. You should win that game. 0 for 3 on fourth downs, and Florida State didn't go for it once. Come on, Mac. That's a Mac thing, isn't it? I mean, if you go 0 for 1, all right. Then you go 0 for 2, you don't go for it again, unless you absolutely have to. Now, I didn't watch this entire game. I was flipping back and forth. That's what I was going to ask, was, you know, the last one they might have had to go for it. But either way.
Man, that was the drop to the running back.
Okay.
It was falling and dropped it, and that was game on a
Yeah, but, you know, it's just weird to me that they lost that game, especially when their defense pitches a shutout in the second half.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a blocked punt, and the one pick was a pick six.
Yeah, and Sam didn't play terrible. I mean, he 20 for 36, 374, 3 touchdowns, that one pick six. But I'm starting to lose
red flags on that I had from Sam. I was
I'm starting to lose some faith in him. I think he'll get it back. I'm not worried about him long term. Yeah. He's still a true sophomore. So, we'll see. But it was disappointing for me to see. I think they'll bounce back though.
Yeah. I didn't think they were going to beat Clemson, but I would have liked, to see them run the table, until Clemson, and have that. That would be the ACC championship, because they don't have each other on the schedule. So undefeated UNC versus undefeated Clemson would have been at least fun. But yeah. What I was just saying, the one thing I was going to bring up on Sam was what kind of concerned me was a few of those at the end. I was kind of saw some of the highlights, rewatched some of those. It worked. His receivers won the ball, and he put it in the right spot. But
he's in desperation mode,
they were desperation. But concerns me is if you're in a close game versus a better team, those are picks.
I think that's still the young thing where, there's some there's some passes where you have to push it like that. But then there's other ones where you have to pick and choose, especially with time constraints, and just throw it out of bounds.
Yeah.
And that's a young player thing. Obviously, that's something that finally Sam Ehlinger has stopped doing. But that was kind of his MO. And his first 2 seasons at his career in Texas, we had USC beat, and he throws a pick because he throws it off his back foot because he didn't know what to do. Yeah. I think that's just an MO of young quarterbacks. So I think that's something Sam will be fine with. But They have a tougher. I was re-looking at their schedule, because at first I had said that they didn't have a really that tough of a schedule, but I've kind of rethought about that, because they have NC State left. That's this week.
Uh-huh.
They go at Virginia, at Duke, which I'm not worried about Duke, but Wake Forest, Notre Dame. I think they'll take out Notre Dame, but then they go at Miami.
Yep.
At the beginning of December, so that's kind of tough, and then they close out against I don't even remember who it is. I know it's a nobody. But who is that? Let's see. WCU, West Carolina Catamounts. Interesting. So that'll be an easy win. But, I think best case scenario, they probably. I don't think they'll necessarily win out with the rest of the schedule. I think they'll probably drop to at Miami. But I think they can beat Notre Dame. But still, I mean, if you only have 2 losses, they'll still get to play Clemson.
Yeah.
Most likely. So, but yeah, a little disappointing for them this week.
So, well, as we look ahead, we have Big Ten action back, as well as the Mountain West jumping in. So I had a lot of games to pick from this upcoming week, and I wrote down in my notes 18 games that I actually considered.
0-18, here we come.
I will not obviously say that, pick them all, because I don't want to see how bad it would get with adding 8 more. But the 10 that I decided to lock in here for this week, and remember, bet the opposite because you'll go above 500. I'm feeling the Coastal Carolina Wave, the Chanticleers, and I'm going to have them cover that 6 versus Georgia Southern. It was 4.5. I was like, man, I would have really liked that, but I will take that 6 I saw today that I'm locking in. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to give them a touchdown win for sure. I think they can win by a touchdown, carry this momentum. First time they've been ranked, they're feeling good. I'm hoping they don't fall to their egos there. Georgia Southern, if I'm correct, they're 3-4-1, so it's still a solid matchup. But going with Coastal Carolina there, I'm going to take Oklahoma to cover that 6.5 versus TCU. Win by a touchdown. I think this is a desperate Oklahoma team. Granted, I said that before, and my lock of the week, and it failed. So I'm going to bet again on Lincoln Riley. He can pull out a touchdown win here. My lock of the week's coming kind of early, but this is a team I think I'm going to probably pick as a lock of the week quite often. Anyone playing Rutgers.
Dang.
Michigan State. It's 13.5. Now, I obviously don't think Michigan State's going to be that great, but I think they can win I think anyone can win about 2 touchdowns versus Rutgers right now. I feel like. I mean, maybe Greg Schiano comes in and it's Greg Schiano of old Rutgers, of the Big East, and actually can win some games. But until I see it, I am going to probably be picking against Rutgers and the spread.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you give me like 30, then maybe I'll reconsider. But I'm going to carry my Liberty momentum and get them to cover that 11 versus Southern Miss. I think Southern Miss is a worse team than Syracuse, and their intern coach, after their head coach got fired after one game, is now out due to COVID. So I don't even know who their third guy in line to be head coach is. So I think Liberty can cover that. My first underdog, I'm going with Iowa State in the 3.5. I'm pretty much going Iowa State to upset them Cowboys at Oklahoma State.
Interesting. I think that's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a very tight game, and I could see it just coming down to a field goal. So that's 2. Oklahoma State's actually played solid defense so far. They'll keep it on the ground with Chuba, and Iowa State's running game's been great. So I think that's going to be just a low-scoring game. Whether Iowa State wins or not, if they lose, I feel like it's going to be close enough. You give me 3.5, I feel pretty decent on that. I'm going. Penn State has to cover 6.5 versus Indiana, and I'm going to take it. I think they need to just show out as strong as they can to make that run for the Nittany Lions. So give me at least a touchdown win. I think they can win by 7 at least. Then I'm going with the bounce back for Boston College to cover that 3 against Georgia Tech. So I know Georgia Tech looked okay until they just absolutely get stomped on by Clemson, but I don't think Boston College will stomp on them, but I think Boston College can win by more than a field goal. My only other underdog on this card is Maryland covering 11 versus Northwestern. Do I think Maryland will win? I don't know, but I could see this game being like 14-10. So the Fighting Nerds at Northwestern don't score a lot of points. They're efficient on defense, but they don't score a lot of points. So even if they win, I don't think they're going to be winning by double digits versus Maryland. We may be seeing Tua's younger brother possibly, or another quarterback they have. So we'll see. I will be giving you the U to win by more than that 11.5 they need to cover versus Virginia. And then my love for the triple option, Air Force will cover that 7 and win by more than a touchdown versus San Jose State. So those are my 10 for this week.
So while you were doing this, I was actually going over, and I've got 7 right now.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna go against you real quick.
Okay.
So you know what? I'm gonna give you them kind of towards the end of it. Let's keep going. Let me find a few more to match your 10, and I want to go against you this week.
Okay.
I just want to, off the top of my head, go through some of these real quick, and then I'll.
Okay. Well, I'll just run through some of the ones I considered.
Okay.
Because I got 8, so maybe one of these will spark you. Illinois, the cover to 20 versus Wisconsin. It was at 23.5, and I was going to take that. Dropped down to 20. I was back and forth. I think they can keep it close. Wisconsin doesn't have that, powerful of an offense. Considered Ohio State by 26 versus Nebraska. They're going to probably come out mad at Ohio State. I think North Carolina and NC State could be close, and 16 last I saw for NC State. Considered Alabama to cover to 21. Iowa to cover to 3 versus Purdue. Boise State to cover to 16.5 versus Utah State. I liked it better at 14.5. Was hoping it would come down. I think SMU is going to beat Cincinnati, but they were an underdog at first at 1.5, and then so many people were going with SMU. They're now the favorite at 2.5. I think SMU wins, but at that point I just decided to go with another pick, and then I was close to picking BYU to cover to 28.
I was tempted looking at that that BYU, and that's rough. That's real rough. 28.5, but let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. I need 2 more. Keep stalling. 2 more. Give me just 1 second.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to actually go to our poll. Might as well, because I did not do a good job on comparing. I will admit that. Player A got just whooped by Player B. And I don't think it's anything with the Player A stats. I think I should have just found a better comparison. Actually, I didn't reveal the answer to you guys early, so... No,
you didn't. I'm kind of excited to hear this, actually.
So, Player A, I think you will admit, that was a pretty solid guy. 65.6 completion percentage. 20,551 passing yards, 134 touchdowns, and 53 interceptions. I will say in these 77 games, this is from 2015 to present. Same with Player B. They both have missed some time due to injury. Player B, 76 games, 63.1 completion percentage, 19,742 passing yards, 151 touchdowns, and only 29 interceptions. That what's made it hard is obviously I think the interceptions definitely pulled it to Player B. I think if I didn't include interceptions, I think that would have been a lot closer. But, I mean, it's fair to include it. So, you got any guesses? You want to take any wild swings?
I really didn't know. This one kind of stumped me. Okay. I had some guesses on the other one, but this one I really didn't. I didn't even want to take a shot. Because I know you've been tricky with how, for some of them, I didn't know you were just taking, chunks of their careers. I thought it was this person has only played this many games. So I was, trying to think of rookies.
Gotcha. Yeah, that made it probably a little harder. Which, to be fair, I did. Well, I guess Gardner wasn't a rookie, but I took a full year in for his. So Player A is Matthew Stafford.
I thought you picked Stafford last week for one of them.
Yeah. And Player B is Rodgers.
Really? Rodgers? Yes. Huh. Okay.
And I thought, I was looking at it all, I was like, man, from 2015, I know obviously Rodgers is a little older, but I was looking from 2015 on, I was like, man, these compare pretty well. Obviously the interceptions is what really throws it off, but I was like, they compare fairly well from 2015 on.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's Rodgers' MO, though, is he doesn't usually make, until you obviously we saw Sunday, but he usually doesn't make those interceptions. He will throw it away.
Yeah. That's fair. And I'm sure most people would obviously pick Rodgers over Stafford if they knew exactly who it was. So, anyways. All right. I got my 10.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So first, I'm taking Pitt to cover the 10.5 over Notre Dame.
Okay.
I'll take K-State to cover the 19.5 over KU. I think KU is going to come out really flat, having found out about Puka Williams deciding not to play for the rest of the season 2 days ago. And they're going to Kansas State. So I'll take K-State to cover that. I'll take Penn State to cover the -6.5 as well over Indiana. Yeah. I'll take your Michigan on the -3 over Minnesota. I noticed you didn't,
I'm not touching
go there.
any Michigan game with how my record is.
Yep. I wanted to give you that curse a little bit. I'll take that loss if I don't get it. I'll take Virginia -9 over Wake Forest. I just don't care for Wake Forest much. SMU, I'll take the -2.5.
Okay.
SMU. So, and then this one hurts to say, but I'll take Baylor to cover the -8.5 or plus 8.5.
Plus 8.5.
Yeah, Texas is favored by 8.5, so I'll take Baylor to cover that. Sadly, I think we'll win, but I think we will win, but I don't. It'll be it'll be close. I'll take the OU. They're favored 6.5 over TCU. I'll take them to cover that. I don't know. I still feel like Rattler is getting a bad break there. I think he could be really good. So, I'll take the Auburn -3 with Ole Miss. People talking a lot of trash about Bo recently. I think he'll come out and have a game where people are like, "Oh, Bo," and then he'll go and play like Bo again next week, and then Yeah. And then my last and final one that I'm really excited for, I'm taking Navy to cover the +14
Ooh.
for Houston. I think they can cover that 14 because Houston favored at 14 against a triple option? No way, not in my house.
Keep that time of possession down.
Yep. That's what I'm going to take.
You want to throw a lock of the week on any of those?
My lock of the week. Let's go. I'm gonna say my lock of the week is the Auburn.
Okay.
And -3 over Ole Miss. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Well, let's kind of roll through real quick here on just some kind of NFL nuggets here. I feel like I didn't feel like a whole lot stood out this week. I don't know about you.
No, not really.
And we can get to our picks, and I know you have some bonus picks coming for UFC this weekend, so I want to get to that. So,
how'd you do on your pick'ems last week for NFL? I got 9 points.
I think you did fairly solid on me on this one. I want to say, nice. I remember I looked. I was like, oh no, I got 9. Never mind.
Dang it!
I thought I think I struggled early was the problem, but I made up for it at the end.
That's what I did too. I missed 4 in a row on the early games, and then made up for it. The Bills game killed me though.
Oh yeah, you still went with the Bills. That's right.
Yeah, I did. I had to. Hey, look, if Kansas, I almost said K-State. If Kansas went into that game undefeated, I think the Bills would have won it.
Gotcha.
I really do, but they already had that loss, so it just changed everything to me.
Yeah. Fair enough. So, well, starting with, obviously I know it pops to the top of my ESPN because they're one of my teams, but the Lions did win. I was split because, they could possibly win a couple games here, but that might save Patricia's job longer, so kind of split there.
Yeah.
But they at least started using Swift. Crazy thought.
Yeah.
He's good. Look, Adrian Peterson can have a role, but, man, use Swift. So, crazy shootout Texans-Titans. Deshaun Watson gaining full control of the offense with Bill Dawn. And, for the Texans team, with the whole 2-point conversion, I actually kind of liked it. Your season's done. Just, hey, you get the 2-point conversion and it's over. If you don't, you still go to overtime. And you know what? At that point, you're like, screw it. Let's just go for it, right?
Yeah. And I like Romeo Cromwell just making that call. Good on him. Because if I recall, that was a thing he never did when he was head coaching, right? He was really conservative, if I'm remembering right.
I believe so.
So, yeah. Also, never listening to y'all ever again on fantasy. I'm not going to blame that on y'all. I was leaning towards Cam, too. I thought Cam would have a really good game bounce back from COVID.
I think it was the bounce back Cam was more enticing than anything.
Yeah, it was. It was. I'm not mad at you.
Man, he came out with the swagger with the photos and
Yeah. I ain't mad at you. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
But
Bengals and Colts both. Well, Bengals did blow it, but the Colts tried to blow it at the end, but they held on. And 4-2 for your Colts now.
I don't like how I'm not a fan of what Jonathan Taylor's been doing. I know he's looked decent, but like I don't know. There's something about him that I don't know if it's the Colts haven't figured out how to unlock him yet or what. I feel like there's still stuff for him left on the table that could be done. Like I don't know what it is.
Well, Matt Ryan and that offense finally showed out what I think everyone knew the potential could be. Julio actually catching 2 touchdowns in a game, almost throwing 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Kirk Cousins gets some nice dump down, check down, big lead yards and touchdowns, but he looked bad. He obviously gets 343, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, but he looked bad. Yeah, Jefferson is. It looks like a win-win. Diggs is working in Buffalo, and that pick turns to Jefferson's working out well.
They didn't want to pay Diggs. Yep. They don't have to. Bills are willing to take on that money. Worked out. So, but then you look back though and be like, oh, well, Texans could have got Justin Jefferson. Like, yeah, you could have done something. I don't know. But Falcons coming alive just in time for Matt Ryan and Julio Jones to land themselves on the trade block. Apparently,
apparently true.
I don't believe that Ryan will be gone, but Julio I could definitely see get traded.
I honestly was going to actually bring that up. I meant to bring that up last week. I could see it. I mean, just because they just need to kind of blow it up almost, and I think Matt Ryan's going to. I think you can't move him at the deadline. It's a lot harder.
Who's going to get him? Like, what are the Cowboys going to pick up Matt Ryan and think they're going to win a Super Bowl?
I think you can move a wide receiver at a deadline easier than a QB. Yeah,
for sure.
A QB like Matt Ryan, I think that's going to go into the offseason. Maybe the Colts relook and go, yep, let's move on from Phillip. This didn't work. But if we want to stick with another veteran, then let's try to plug in Matt Ryan.
If I'm Atlanta, I'm calling Philly about Julio Jones right now.
Oh.
See if they can get a push, because I bet Philly would be willing to do that to try to get a push to win the AFC East over the Cowboys. AFC East, NFC East.
If you did have Brandon McManus, you got a lot of fantasy points, as all the Broncos did was kick field goals, but it worked. And I think, like you mentioned with the Patriots, they are just missing that guy to stretch the field. They don't have that, so their offense is kind of stuck a little bit right now.
Yeah.
If you can defend the run and keep Cam in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Giants and Washington, I avoided that game until the end to see it, but
I actually watched that entire game. Man. I'm ashamed of it, but I watched that entire game. It was, Daniel Jones does some things that you really, really love the entire game, and then he just makes these bonehead mistakes, man. I'm just like, what are you doing? Danny Dimes.
Yeah. I you know what? I will say real quick. I did flip it over for the end. I was surprised Kyle Allen made that touchdown throw, but then was not surprised he absolutely tanked the 2-point conversion. I did watch, as you watched that whole game, I watched the whole Ravens-Eagles, and man, if it wasn't for the fact that Washington-Giants was the only other game to flip to at the time, I kept it on, and you know what? The Eagles, once again, that's why, obviously, you mentioned a push, because the Eagles at least show a little more signs of life than the Cowboys right now, and for as much as
a push at 1-4-1.
Yep, that push to win the division with 5-6 wins. Obviously, and I'm not completely saying he has no blame, but he's made plenty of bad throws and all of that. But from watching that game, man, and for what's surrounding him, I feel like you got to give Wentz at least some credit on that. There's a lot he needs to do way better, and especially early in the year, he was making some dumb throws, and he is still trying to do too much. There was a fumble he had. He basically was getting tackled by 2 guys, and he was still trying to truck the guy. You need to just go down. He's just trying to do too much. He was throwing blocks out there in the Wildcat. He's giving it his all. And I heard someone earlier this week go, well, if they're paying you all that, you need to find a way to win. You're taking that much of the cap. Well, also, the people that actually they're spending around him aren't healthy. That's different. Any quarterback's going to get somewhat of a little bit of a break if, he's a top paid guy, but if his whole O-line isn't healthy pretty much, and his 1, 2, 3 receivers are, Alshon, Deshaun, and Rager are all hurt. Ertz is hurt. I mean, he was still playing that game, but now out. Goddard's out. I mean, I feel like you get a little bit of a pass with that bad a surrounding, but it was they made a comeback, They were starting to hold Lamar, and Lamar's still looking a little shaky right now. He might have needed that training camp.
Yeah.
The Steelers absolutely just wallop the Browns. Not a lot to say there.
No.
Ugly. And you know what? If I'm on the apology tour, I'm going to apologize to the Bears. You know what? I didn't doubt the defense.
I'm not.
But you know what? They're at 5-1 now. They shouldn't be, but they are. And I think they might be able to squeeze enough wins out. I thought they would lose here. Nick Foles is doing just enough. He doesn't make the dumb Mitch Trubisky plays, so that saves him 7 points at least a game because he's not putting the other team in easy position. So whatever. I just don't even care about the Bears anymore. Your defense is very good. Great. Shutout pitched by the Dolphins. Versus the Jets. And as
Feel
Caleb
bad
is
for Fitzy,
rooting,
but it's time for Tua.
Time for 2 after the bye week. Caleb's rooting for 0-16 to get that pick, and Jay's fired.
Do you follow Mina Kimes?
I don't, because she honestly pops up enough that I feel like I'm already following her.
I love Mina. I
like her, but people start retweeting her enough. I feel like I don't even need to follow her. It's already popping up.
She gets more crap on Twitter than I've ever seen, and I don't understand it. Mina's awesome. But anyways, she tweeted yesterday. She was like, whispers in the general direction of Dallas, Fitzpatrick could win the NFC East. I like it. Trade him to Dallas. I would love that. I'm not gonna lie. I'd maybe hate the Cowboys a little bit less.
Yeah. The Bucks defense, man, that pass rush is on, and dude, Devin White and Levante David is
so
such a combo.
fast. They're so fast sideline to sideline.
Oh my, yeah. Insane.
You can't get around them.
No.
And God knows an offensive lineman can't reach that second level when it's them. So, goodness.
The Bucks are getting healthy, and
they're scary now.
They are getting scary.
Tom Brady's starting to play
66 yards. He didn't have to do anything.
Well, and hell, if Gronk's plays like that,
stuff,
if Gronk actually plays like that for the rest of the season, no way he does. There's just no way.
Yeah.
But if he does, good Lord, I don't know who's gonna beat him.
Yeah, it's scary. And the Rams, your favorite line you can pull out here. They will lose here.
They're frauds. It's a sham. The 49ers didn't even have Mostert for the second half, who was killing it, by the way, when he was in there. Dude just runs so hard. That's why he gets hurt all the time, because he runs so hard. But, I don't trust your 49ers if he's out for a little bit, though.
Yeah, there's just too much for the 49ers. Unfortunately, I guess my 3-year plan was just wasn't meant to be. So close.
Wasn't meant to be.
The double Monday night, Chiefs win against the Bills. I mean,
crappy game.
They're gonna definitely need to bring Josh Allen down a little bit. Just calm him down. He'll be fine. Work back this rest of the year. What was working on the offense, you'll be fine. Then Kyler Murray and Kenyon Drake ran circles around the Cowboys and just fumbles after fumbles after fumbles. And
the Cotton Bowl is the house that Doak built. Jerry World's the house that Kyler built.
As
3 state championships, 2 Big 12 championships.
And after that game, he is now 43-0 against high school football teams in Texas.
Perfect.
So, let's get to our picks here real quick for next week so we can squeeze in some UFC picks at the end.
Yeah.
So, of course, now the app doesn't want to load because that's where my picks are. We actually have Thursday night football again, and maybe we don't want Thursday night football again because we got Giants at Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles, though.
You know what?
It's gonna be a close
Upset
game,
time,
probably.
baby.
Okay.
Let's go Giants. I'm picking the Giants. I don't know what it was. I just felt it.
All right. Lions at Falcons, and I think now the Falcons offense is playing well. I am picking the Falcons.
I'm also taking the Falcons.
Bills at Jets. That's a Bills win.
Yep.
That's
Bills.
a perfect game to come back and make Josh Allen feel better.
Yeah.
Browns at Bengals. I would have, man, if the Browns at least played closer, I think I would have picked the Bengals, but Browns got to win this. I'm doing Browns.
Yeah, I think Baker comes out and plays like a damn near perfect game because of how bad he was last week, and he's like, I can't get benched.
Yeah.
Not again. So, yeah, Browns.
Cowboys at football team. This is going to be an ugly game, but I think I'm following your logic with the bad first game and a bounce back here from Andy Dalton. The Cowboys get the win.
Yeah, I'll take Cowboys again. I'll take Cowboys. I think he needed that first game to get some,
I think a bad Cowboys defense can handle Kyle Allen. So
I do. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think the defense will be fine. I almost picked them up in fantasy this week, actually.
Packers at Texans. I'm going to take a bounce back Aaron Rodgers here.
Also,
a close
lot
game.
of bounce back games.
I think it'll be a shootout.
Yeah. I'm excited to start Deshaun this week. Jerks.
Panthers at Saints. I'll take the Saints. Hopefully Michael Thomas doesn't fight anyone so I can finally use him in fantasy again.
I'll take the Saints, mainly because I think we'll probably split this year, and it's in New Orleans. So.
All right. Steelers at Titans. This will be a very fun game. I will take the Titans.
I'm taking the Steelers.
Okay. We got some splits. Some good splits here for the week. Seahawks at Cardinals. I'm going to take Seahawks. At first, I think I was going split, but I'm leaning Seahawks to win them both.
I'm taking Cardinals. I liked them splitting from the beginning, and I'm sticking with that.
All right. Chiefs at Broncos. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs.
49ers at Patriots. Man, this one was tough. I think this is just me being desperate towards my prediction. I'm going 49ers.
I'm going Pats. I don't like 49ers without Mostert.
Yeah, it's scaring me there. And a bounce back Patriots. But I'm going to stick with it. Jags at Chargers. Herbert finally gets that win.
Yep, Chargers.
We got Bucks at Raiders. This is a fun one. The matchup of the former Gruden team.
Don't do it.
I'm going with the Bucks.
Good. Give me them Raiders. I'm rolling with my pick, baby. I like them for the playoffs. I got to go with them.
That's fair. And then we got Monday night. The Bears at the Rams. Your fraud versus your fraud. I'm going to go with the Bears, though. Their Bears are the better fraud.
I'm actually going to go with the Rams.
Ooh, okay.
We're going to have a very different... One of us is going to really take out the other one.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. So there's our picks. And with these last couple minutes, let's hear some UFC picks.
Yeah, UFC 254. Khabib is back versus Gaethje for the lightweight. Gaethje currently has the interim belt, but he does not want it at all. He's been making that very clear. I'm actually going to go the surprise pick. I'm taking Gaethje. I think he's going to knock him out. I don't know how Khabib's going to be. He's fought like once in the past like 2 years or something like that since he got in that brawl with Conor. I love Gaethje. It's kind of a homer pick for me too. I love Gaethje. I'll take Robert Whittaker. Dude's just a monster. Then Volkov is just so good. Take him against Walt Harris. Volkov's just a monster kickboxer. I'll go to the prelims. I won't pick through the whole card just so we can get a little switch up. I love Stefan Struve, but Tay is probably going to win that one. And then I'll take smiling Sam Alvey. Down there at the very beginning of the prelims. I really like him. He's a cool guy. So he seems like an awesome dude in the UFC. So just some quick pick'ems for UFC. It's going to be a really good card this week. So middle of the day fights too, by the way.
I was
in Abu Dhabi.
the time I thought I was wrong, but
yeah, no. In Abu Dhabi, it's middle of the day. It's kind of weird. So
all right. So lots of action. We got World Series, we have Big Ten returning, lots of college football action, and NFL. We're back in the sports circle, and we gave you plenty of picks. So we'll see how that turns out. We have a lot of things to track for next week. So once again, you can always catch us on Wednesday here on 12 Ounce Sports, 8:30 Central Time. We'll catch you next week, and have a great rest of your night.